If you're feeling it, there's no turning back. There's something going on in your body right now that you probably didn't notice. And when I tell you what it is, you'll understand why your life has changed so much in recent times without you doing anything different. Most people think that spiritual awakening is about reading books, meditating, or following some enlightened guru, but the truth that no one tells you is much more radical. Awakening happens first in the body, at the cellular level, and only then does the mind get the message. While you were there living your normal life, thinking it was just a strange phase or accumulated tiredness, your body had already started an irreversible transformation that literally has no turning back. And here's the paradox that will blow your mind. The more you try to get back to normal, the more you realize that that normality was just a collective trance from which you finally woke up. If you feel deep tiredness without medical explanation, if your sleep patterns have become a mess, if you can't stand crowded places and empty conversations anymore, if people who were everything to you now seem to be in another dimension, I have some news to give you. It's not depression, it's not burnout syndrome, it's not freshness or a passing existential crisis. It is your body registering a frequency shift so profound that every cell of you is being reprogrammed to operate at a completely different voltage. The pain you feel is not the problem. It is the solution trying to emerge through a system that still resists transformation. And the reward for understanding this now, at this very moment, you will stop fighting yourself and you will finally allow the metamorphosis to happen without guilt, without fear, without thinking that there is something wrong with you. This video is not for everyone, it's just for those who already feel in their chest that something has changed with no return and need confirmation that they are not going crazy. If you got here, it wasn't by chance. It was because the energy brought you exactly where you needed to be. Now let me ask you a very direct question. If you could go back to who you were a year ago, knowing everything you know today, would you go back? If the answer is no, comment below the number 11, because this is the number of the portal of irreversible transformation. And when you put it in the comments, you are declaring to the universe that you have accepted this spiritual journey with no return. Let's create here a community of awakened souls who are not afraid to assume that they have evolved, even if the outside world doesn't understand it yet. There is a silent adjustment happening within you right now, and if you are feeling it, you need to know a truth that few have the courage to speak. There is no turning back. Your body has become a temple in deep renewal, where every cell is being reconfigured for a new frequency of existence. It's not just a different thought or a philosophy that you've adopted. It's something much more visceral, something that's happening in the deepest layers of your being. The transformation began without asking permission, without warning, and now it leads you into uncharted territory where the old certainties simply no longer make sense. It's as if an invisible door has closed behind you, and even if you wanted to, you couldn't find the handle to go back. This awakening did not come with trumpets or obvious signs in the sky. It came between the lines of your daily life. Maybe it started with a strange feeling when you woke up, a different perception looking in the mirror, or that moment when you realized that conversations that once cheered you up now seem empty. Consciousness is expanding, but not in a romantic way as shown in the movies. It is moving you from one reality to another, recalibrating every aspect of your life energy. Your nervous system is operating at a different voltage, picking up signals that previously went unnoticed, sensing vibrations that most people don't even know exist. It's unsettling and liberating at the same time, as if you're learning to breathe again, but with lungs you never knew you had. And here's the detail that no one told you about this spiritual journey. Your body knows before your mind accepts it. While you were still trying to rationalize, explain, resist, your organism had already started the cellular metamorphosis. It was already releasing layers of dense energy accumulated over the years. The soul had already signed the contract of this ascension, And now every physical symptom you experience is only confirmation that the process is underway. There is no point in trying to go back to who you were, because that version of you no longer exists. It was dissolved at the same instant that you allowed the first spark of enlightenment to touch your consciousness. The adjustment is irreversible, and something inside you already knows it. The spiritual awakening you are experiencing is not a mental decision that can be reversed with a simple, "I changed my mind." It happens at the cellular level, at such a visceral depth that your DNA is literally being rewritten by the new frequency you have come to emanate. It is like that butterfly that emerges from the cocoon. It can never become a caterpillar again, because the metamorphosis has already completely transformed its structure, its essence, its very nature. In the same way, when consciousness expands beyond a certain point, when you see beyond the veil of illusion, there is no undo button that brings you back to the comfortable unconsciousness of before. His body registered this transformation, each cell vibrating in a new tune, and trying to reverse it would be like trying to convince a butterfly to crawl again. Many people confuse awakening with having different thoughts or adopting new philosophical beliefs, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. True awakening is when your physical body begins to automatically reject that which no longer resonates with your new vibration. You don't have to make an effort to avoid certain places, certain people, certain foods or habits. Your body simply doesn't accept it anymore, as if an internal security system had been activated. It's the energy speaking louder than the reason. It's the soul running the show while the mind is still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I've seen people trying to force the bar, going back to old environments, resuming emotional addictions. But the body reacts with immediate physical discomfort, as if to say, "I'm sorry, but this door has already closed for us." And do you know what's most fascinating about this journey? You can't rationally explain to someone that you're not going through it, because the words are too small to translate the magnitude of the profound change happening within you. It's like trying to describe the color blue to someone who was born blind. There is simply no shared reference. Awakening creates a new language within you, a direct communication with dimensions of existence that were previously invisible to your senses. Your nervous system is learning to process information on a completely different spectrum, picking up subtle signals of energy that redefine your perception of absolutely everything. And the more you try to return to the old normalcy, the more you realize that that normality was just a collective trance from which you finally woke up. The first sign that almost everyone feels is that sacred tiredness, a deep exhaustion that has no apparent medical explanation. You sleep 8 hours and wake up as if you had run a marathon. But interestingly, this tiredness does not weigh in the same way as ordinary fatigue. It's different, you know? It's as if your body is working in the background, processing and releasing dense layers of old energy that you've carried around for years, maybe even lifetimes. While you are there watching TV or drinking coffee, your energetic structure is doing a deep cleaning, throwing away crystallized emotional patterns, limiting beliefs rooted in your vibrational field, traumas that have been imprinted in your cellular memory. This is the body letting go of what no longer serves, and this consumes absurd energy, which is why you feel this striking symptom right at the beginning of the transformation. But it doesn't stop there, because the physical signals cascade when consciousness begins to truly expand. Your sleep pattern changes completely. You may wake up at 3 in the morning with surreal lucidity, or feel the need to sleep at totally unusual times, as if your biological clock had been reprogrammed to a new frequency. Sensitivity increases in a way that scares you at first. You start to feel the energy of the environments as soon as you enter them. You can tell when someone is lying just by the vibration that the person emits. Loud sounds bother you in an almost unbearable way. That favorite place of yours in the mall turns into a sensory hell, while a walk in the park becomes an almost mystical experience. And there's no point in fighting it, because the more you resist, the more the body intensifies the symptoms to force you to pay attention to the message that the soul is trying to give you. The need for silence becomes almost an obsession, and it is not freshness or antisociality, it is pure energetic survival. Your nervous system is undergoing a profound recalibration, learning to operate at a completely different voltage, and it needs moments of stillness to adjust without overloading. Shallow conversations that you once tolerated quietly now drain your energy in minutes. Crowded and noisy places make you physically sick, and you find yourself needing hours alone just to rebalance after basic social interactions. It's not that you're getting weird or isolated, it's that your frequency has changed and low vibrational environments just don't match what you've become anymore. Your body is asking you for respect, asking you to honor this sacred process by creating spaces of peace where transformation can happen without outside interference that hinders the fine-tuning that is going on in your cells. There is a fascinating bridge between what we call spiritual and what science is beginning to prove, and your body is living that connection right now. When we say that the nervous system is recalibrating, it's not metaphor or empty mystical talk, it's literally what's happening in your biology. Researchers have already identified that meditative practices and heightened states of consciousness alter the activity of the vagus nerve, the one that connects your brain to the rest of your body and regulates everything from your breathing to your ability to relax deeply. During awakening, this nerve undergoes a strengthening process, creating new neural pathways that allow you to access states of expanded perception more easily. It is as if your body is installing a more powerful antenna to capture frequencies that were previously out of your reach. And this has a completely scientific basis. The pineal gland, that tiny structure in the center of your brain that the ancients called the third eye, also undergoes an awakening during this transformation. It produces melatonin, yes, but also DMT in small amounts, a compound that scientists associate with mystical experiences and altered states of consciousness. When you raise your vibration through the spiritual journey, this gland begins to decalcify and function more actively, literally opening portals of perception that had been dormant. It's no wonder that you start to have deep insights out of nowhere, vivid and revealing dreams, or that feeling of being connected to something much bigger than yourself. Your brain is operating at different frequencies, brain waves that oscillate between alpha and theta more fluidly, creating bridges between the conscious and the subconscious that were previously inaccessible. And here is the detail that unites science and spirituality in a definitive way. Every thought, every emotion, every belief you carry emits a measurable electromagnetic frequency. Your heart, for example, generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times more powerful than that of the brain, and this field expands several meters around you, influencing and being influenced by the environment. During ascension, this field strengthens and harmonizes, coming into coherence with the higher frequencies of the universe. It's not magic, it's quantum physics applied to your human experience. The transformation you feel is not only in your head or only in your soul, it is happening in every atom of your being, reorganizing matter according to the new consciousness you are embodying. Science is finally catching up with what mystics have always known. We are beings of energy in constant metamorphosis, and awakening is just the moment when we take conscious reins of this evolution. Now comes the part where you really test your evolution with questions that don't lie, questions that go straight to the point bluntly. First question, did you change without suffering? Think about it, because most changes in people's lives come through pain, crisis, despair that forces a turning point. But when the awakening is real, when the consciousness expands in a genuine way, The changes happen organically, almost smoothly, as if you just let go of old habits, like someone who takes off a heavy coat on a hot day. You didn't have to fight with yourself to stop doing certain things. They just stopped making sense, and you moved on. If you can look back and realize that you evolved without all that drama, without that violent internal struggle, it's because the transformation came from the inside out, from the soul commanding the process, while the ego just watched, confused but powerless to stop it. Second question that does not fail. Have your preferences changed naturally, without you forcing it? Pay attention to this, because it is a clear sign that the vibration of your entire being has risen to the next level. That kind of music you loved now annoys you. That group of friends who were everything to you now seem to be speaking a different language. That relationship you swore was the love of your life suddenly seems shallow and empty. And most importantly, you're not judging any of this as good or bad. You just don't resonate anymore. It's like you've changed radio stations, and those old frequencies are just static now. This does not happen because of mental effort or because you read a book that you should change. It happens because your energy field is literally operating in another dimension and naturally attracts experiences that match this new attunement. Third, and perhaps the most revealing of questions, do old people and places just no longer make sense to you? If you feel that, congratulations, you've passed the test of irreversible awakening. It's not that you've turned your back arrogantly or that you think you're better than others. Nothing like that. It's just that when you raise your frequency, you literally no longer fit in certain spaces. You can no longer sustain certain conversations. You can no longer stand to pretend to be interested in subjects that seem so small next to the immensity you now see. That bar where you used to spend every weekend looks like an old movie set. That family reunion that was once mandatory now leaves you exhausted just thinking about it. And the clearest sign of all, you don't feel guilty about it. You feel peace, because you have finally understood that honoring your spiritual journey means, sometimes, leaving behind everything that no longer vibrates in the same tune as you. If these three questions resonated strongly in your chest, you are not imagining things. Ascension is happening in you and the signs are everywhere. The most liberating truth about this awakening is that there is no return simply because there is no desire to return. Think with me. When you wake up from a nightmare, do you stand there desperate, wanting to go back to the nightmare? Of course not. You breathe a sigh of relief for having gotten out of that. Spiritual awakening works just like that, only on a cosmic scale. You've spent so much time sleeping, living on autopilot, accepting crumbs of happiness and calling it a full life, that now that you've woken up, the mere idea of returning to that state of unconsciousness makes your chest tighten. It's not that you can't go back. Theoretically, you could even try to numb yourself again with distractions and denials, but the soul just doesn't accept it anymore. It's like trying to like soda after you've tried pure spring water. Your taste buds have changed, your quality reference has changed, and there's no turning back. Those who have seen the light no longer choose the darkness voluntarily, and this is a metaphor that perfectly translates the irreversible nature of this transformation. Imagine that you have spent your whole life in a dark room, tripping over furniture, hurting your toes, living in fear of every shadow. Then someone turns on the light and you finally see where things are, understand the geometry of space, realize that those monsters in the shadows were just piles of clothes. Now tell me, would you want to turn off the light again? Would you want to stumble again, to be afraid again, to live limited by a distorted perception of reality again? This is exactly what happens with expanded consciousness. Once you see the truth about who you really are, about the interconnected nature of everything, about the immensity of your creative power, going back to the illusion of separation and limitation is no longer a viable option. And do you know what the most beautiful part of it all is? Irreversibility is not a prison, it is a definitive liberation. Many people are afraid to wake up because they think they will lose something important, that they will have to give up pleasures or meaningful connections. But the truth is the opposite. You only lose what was never real. You only let go of what has always kept you small. What is genuine, what is true, what really matters. All of this remains and intensifies after ascension. Your relationships deepen. Your experiences become richer. Your capacity to feel love and gratitude expands in ways you didn't even know possible. Metamorphosis doesn't take away anything of value. It just removes the false layers that prevented you from accessing the fullness that has always been available to you. So when we say there's no turning back, it's not a threat or a dark warning. It's a promise that you're finally going home to your true vibrational home, and nothing in the universe could make you want to let go of it. If you're going through this right now, you need to hear something that maybe no one has told you yet. You're not alone on this journey, even when it seems like the whole world has turned its back on you. Millions of souls around the planet are experiencing this same transformation, feeling the same strange symptoms, going through the same identity crises, questioning the same things you question when you are alone in the dark of dawn. The difference is that most do not talk about it openly, because we live in a society that pathologizes awakening, that tries to stick medicine in those who are just waking up to a broader dimension of existence. But you have come this far, you have found this message, and this is not a coincidence. It is the energy guiding you to confirm that what you feel is real, valid, and part of a sacred process much greater than any of us individually. Your body knows exactly the way, even when your mind is lost, trying to map out territory that doesn't show up on any conventional GPS. Every symptom you feel, every silent adjustment that happens in your cells, every moment of sacred tiredness or amplified sensitivity, all of this is your body telling you that you are on the right path. Trust the process, because the soul would never take you anywhere you weren't ready to go. This recalibration of the nervous system, this profound shift in your vibrational frequency, this all has a divine purpose that will unfold as you move forward. You don't need to understand everything now. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to honor what you feel and allow the transformation to happen in its time, without forcing, without resisting, just flowing with the current of evolution that chose you. And before you move forward on your journey, let me make you a sincere invitation. Share in the comments what you are feeling. Which of these awakening signs resonated most strongly with you? Write a number from 1 to 7, representing which of the signs we mentioned here touched you most deeply. 1 for sacred tiredness, 2 for changes in sleep, 3 for increased sensitivity, 4 for need for silence, 5 for changes in preferences, 6 for distancing yourself from old people and places, or 7 if you felt all these signs at the same time. This space down here is not just a comment box. It is a meeting point for awakened souls who need to recognize themselves in each other, who need to know that they are not going crazy, that they are just being reborn. Leave your number here, because when you share your experience, you light the way for another person who is going through the same thing and thinking that they are the only one in the whole world living it. Now that you understand what is happening in your body, the question that remains is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you continue to fight against transformation, trying to fit into spaces that no longer fit you, pretending that everything is normal while your soul screams for expansion? Or will you finally honor this sacred process by creating life that resonates with the new frequency you have become? Because look, you can have all the spiritual knowledge in the world. You can watch 1,000 videos about awakening and ascension. But if you don't apply that in practice, if you don't make real choices that honor who you're becoming, nothing will really change. Expanded consciousness without conscious action is just a pretty theory that doesn't transform anything. Then answer me with absolute sincerity. Are you ready to stop apologizing for having evolved? Are you ready to let go of relationships that drain you, environments that diminish you, habits that keep you vibrating low? Or will you still be in that, "Oh, but it's complicated, people won't understand, I can't just change everything"? Because the reality is that you have already changed everything. Your body has already made the choice for evolution. Now your mind and your attitudes need to follow what your soul has already decided. I want you to look at your life today and identify one thing, just one, that you know you need to let go of, but are holding back out of fear or social obligation. Can you identify it? So comment below what this thing is. You don't need to give details if you don't want to, but put it into words, because when you declare it publicly, you create an energetic commitment to your own evolution. And if you want to continue on this journey of deep self-knowledge, if you want to understand more about the signs of awakening, about how to navigate this transformation without freaking out in the process, about how to build a life that honors who you really are, then subscribe to the channel now and activate the notification bell. Because I'm here every week bringing content that is not superficial, that is not more of the same, that goes deep into the truths that most are afraid to speak. This is not a channel for those who want easy answers or shallow motivation. It is a space for those who are really committed to the evolution of consciousness, to real transformation, to awakening with no return. So, press that red button down there, turn on notifications, and come be part of this community of souls who are not afraid to shine in their own intensity. The journey has only just begun, and the best is yet to come.